Welcome to the IoT Podcast. I'm your host, Tom White. We are joined today by Omar Qaise from OQ Technology. Omar is the founder of OQ Technology, which is a global 5G network operator, transforming cellular and satellite communications as we speak right now. Omar, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thanks for hosting me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Omar, could we start by giving a brief explanation to what OQ Technology is doing and what prompted you to start this business?
Yeah, so OQ Technology is really looking into expanding the footprint of cellular 5G communication into remote and rural areas where there's no coverage, and specifically for machine-to-machine and Internet of Things communication. And we achieve this using non-terrestrial networks like low Earth orbit satellites, drones, balloons, hubs. And what promoted me to start this is really looking, as working before mainly in the energy, oil and gas sector in Africa and Middle East. I've noticed that there's always a market gap with traditional satellite communication. And satellite was always seen as a very expensive solution, while cellular communication provides a lot of value and quality. However, there were a lot of communities that were deprived from the value of advanced communication. And now with 5G revolution, is mainly confined to urban areas. And then I took on my I said my mission will be really to make this revolution and bring the benefit of 5G into remote and rural areas and to those communities everywhere, whether in the sea, in the poles, in the mountains, or desert.
Yeah, fantastic. Because you've got a background, haven't you, in satellite technology, because this isn't your first sort of dip into it. You used to work for a satellite technology business, is that correct?
Yes. So I started as a telecommunication engineer. I worked on different as a spacecraft engineer on different types of satellites, specifically with telecommunication at the German Aerospace Center, at the European Space Agency, and also I worked at SES Astra, which is one of the largest satellite geo-satellite telecom operators in Luxembourg. And through that, actually, I switched also from technical into business. I was looking into business development and sales, and this was really good fit to see where new technologies can fit into satellite business and revolutionize this field.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously, 5G technology is generating a lot of exciting prospects for the future. There's a lot of talk about what 5G can do. The leaps and bounds that is taken, obviously, from 4G. What is OQ Technology doing specifically to enhance business and consumer operations in the 5G market? And additionally, what value can we expect to see in the integration of OQ Tech and 5G technology globally?
Yeah. So as you can see, the trend right now is towards really getting mobile communication and satellite communication together, that the boundaries are falling apart between the two. For users who are dependent on cellular networks, and there's a huge segment of applications and vertical that depend on that, they have a problem that once their operations or they are mobile outside of the connectivity to the cellular network, to the cell tower, that they lose connectivity, and then they have to rely on non-standardized satellite systems, very expensive system, different technologies, which is difficult to integrate with the cellular technology. What we are trying to bring here is really the same exactly cellular 5G Airlink with the satellite. So imagine your cellular tower, instead of being standing stationary in a city, it's flying and you connect with it. So if you have a SIM card and a device that connects inside the city to certain operator, once you go out, you seamlessly connect to our network and you wouldn't feel that there is a change. This way, the cellular footprint will be everywhere in the world. Today is only about 75% of the, only 25% of the world is covered by cellular communication. That's not even talking about 5G. Now we want to change this through using low Earth or Earth orbit satellite networks.
Yeah, wow. Only 25%. I mean, that's staggering if you think about it. You know, for me, growing up and living in the UK, the use of cellular connectivity is been around as long as I've been able to use these devices, right? So knowing that 25% of the world is that the difference between like the developed world and countries that maybe are not so developed with technology? Is that where that figure comes from?
No, it comes from the reality that for terrestrial networks, you need to build towers, you need to dig cables underground, and that's
for
fine.
the infrastructure.
Yeah, but you cannot cover the whole world with its mountains and seas, and that's the issue. While with satellites, you can easily from above have a very huge footprint and then cover the world. It's just that there hasn't been any satellite that is using the same technology as cellular, and we're trying to bring this and fly it into the sky.
Right. Okay. And that leads me on quite nicely to my next question. So, without revealing the secret sauce, so to speak, what differentiates OQ Tech from other companies that may be proposing similar solutions or are sort of going in the same way? You know, what do you think it is that you're doing slightly differently?
Yeah. So what we look at is there are three main dimensions where there's a difference. If you look at all traditional or even newcoming IoT satellite operators, it's always the same model: is you bring your own technology, you invent it, you try to build the whole ecosystem from scratch, the infrastructure, the satellite, the user terminals, the service. It's a huge thing. Now, what we're doing, we're not inventing a new technology. We're tapping into an existing technology standardized everywhere in the world. You go to Brazil, you go to Australia, everyone will know LTE, everyone will know 5G. So we're tapping in this existing ecosystem, and we're trying to expand that into remote and rural areas through satellites. So the ecosystem exists already. The market is huge. You don't need to build this from scratch. You will be interoperable with everyone else. That's an advantage. The other advantage is, especially for IoT, cellular communication offers high scalability. So you can, we talk about massive machine communication where millions and billions of devices will be connected. And imagine how can you connect all this to satellites. So cellular technology is well fit, 5G technology, to address that, and better than any other technology, so we use it. And finally, you have a better data size rate using cellular technology. So instead of just doing IoT tracking data, small messages, maybe you can add to it voice or some larger amount of data files to transfer for example, predictive maintenance or smart metering or any other type of application. And that's what makes us different, that we follow a global scalable standard.
Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I've obviously we've spoken in the past, but for me, that's a really interesting snippet of the differentiation.
Just to give you an example, for example,
yeah, please.
What we're looking at is really in the end a chip that can connect seamlessly to mobile network and to satellite. Today, imagine you have a fleet of trucks that you manage, and you need to track where they are going anywhere in the world. And I sell you a board tracking device, which has a chip for mobile. And once you're out, there is no mobile coverage. Then you need some satellite modem, and then you have to add another chip. So the cost of the device will increase with two different types of technology. Imagine now, no, that doesn't exist. You have only one chip that connects to LTE, to 5G, and to satellite 5G, over millions of chips and devices. You can imagine how much cost we reduce for the end users and the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of, the opportunity is obviously massive. Given the fact that 5G is relatively new in the sense of it rolling out, right, for domestic users and what have you, what would you say have been the biggest challenges to date for OQ Tech that you've faced and also will face in the future deployment of your technology?
Yeah, so of course, like any startup coming with innovative technology, one of the big hurdles is of course, that you have always to deal with until is funding, for example, and trying to find funding resources for deployment of such a network. So this is one of the challenges we work on. Talent also, educating customers with this new technology also. And at the same time, that 5G is being deployed also, and the good thing, there is kind of convergence towards some, like in the different countries, towards how 5G will be used and which frequency and all this. But of course, until that comes, there's this transitional period, which is also a bit challenging, that we're monitoring closely. We are also in the global 3GPP group for standardization of 5G, working with the different operators and big players in order to have one standardized system in remote and rural areas. And we're bringing a lot of value to that too.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And Omar, what's the vision for the future for you within OQ technology, and also, your personal view on where we might go with both 5G and satellite communications?
Yes. So our vision really is to make every smartphone in the end speak the same language as satellites. So that's our vision.
Wow. Okay. And so in layman's terms, so for people that may not know the technology behind this, what does that mean to actually have a smartphone speak the same language, and this standardization? What's the benefits of having that?
Well, the benefit is having ubiquitous connectivity anywhere in the world, providing cellular coverage to the remote deprived communities from that can reap the benefits of this new 5G technology and telecommunication with its different applications. Something that still a challenge to bring to a lot of the areas and communities in the world. So today, I can just give you a simple example. When although we're focused on IoT and machine-to-machine communication, this is our long-term vision. But you have connectivity in your cellular. You may go out on a highway and suddenly you lose your signal. There's no more coverage, especially if you go away from the city. And imagine that on the whole planet. So that's what we want to change. And you can imagine the effect on education, on medical applications, machine communication, tracking, security, all the different fields that benefit from agriculture, energy, that benefit from satellite communication in remote or rural areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a real prominent message, isn't it? One of the aims of this podcast is to try and normalize the technology that thought leaders such as yourself are developing, and I guess the closest way to relate this is to say, remember when Wi-Fi calling came in, and you'd move to a new house, and the last thing you'd do is check for cellular connectivity, right? You wouldn't check on how many bars. You'd be looking in the garden. Is the garden big enough? Does it have enough rooms? But when you realize there's dead spots, Wi-Fi calling, that enablement has really improved and enriched many people's lives. So to have a similar concept based around satellites when you're traveling is a really big thing, and it's going to be massive. So I can see why you founded a business, and why you're always so busy as well. It's a big task at hand, right?
I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, good. Well, Omar, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been great to speak to you in this context, and I know you're super busy, so we really appreciate your time, and thank you once again.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have another interaction in future. Very happy.
Yes, I'd like that. All right. Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.